to the Saturday morning live stream, August 30th, or 20th. Yeah, 20th. Whoa, whoa. So hopefully you guys have got your stuff planted that you need. You've got your fall garden is nice and growing, but you can also plant seeds still. So any of the spinach or tatsoi or shijimisa or any of the oriental greens, bok choy, pak choy, all of that stuff you can still plant. If you're in zones 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, probably even 9, it gets a little bit different in 10, but all that stuff is still good. Remember, anything that you can eat at any stage along the way, that's what you want to be planting now. Even beets, you don't have to wait to get full-size big beets. You can just plant beets, carrots, any of the greens, the collard greens, all that kind of stuff. You still got time, okay? Especially once I show you how to make the season extending hoop house, which is very simple and very effective. Gives you at least another 2-3 weeks once frosts begin to hit. Finally made it to the live stream. Thank you for doing these. Yes, you're very welcome, Mick. Mick Haggerty. Yes, I was just saying that anything you can get to planting it into the garden, all right? Now, the things that we don't plant are things that we have to wait until maturation, like tomatoes and cucumbers. I mean, those are heat-loving plants anyways, or dried beans, all that kind of stuff. That's all behind us now, okay? We have to plan and wait for next year. But the things that we can plant and then harvest at any stage along the way is what we want to focus on. Okay, spinach and all that kind of stuff, all the greens, you can eat those as microgreens, so it doesn't really matter, okay? Brad Lucas, good morning from down under, Australia. That's what that means, right? This week I got hot tea with lemon and ginger, cloves, and cardamom. So because last time it was so difficult to continue talking. Graham, I think if they stop spraying the skies, the weather might become a lot more reliable and stable. They've been spraying for decades, just a thought. Yes, they have been spraying for decades. And when I used to live in Northern California, I remember seeing sometimes the sky would be so crisscrossed with chemtrails that it was unbelievable to me. I don't know what it was, but why specifically there. I mean, I have some ideas of why, but then I come back here to the Midwest and you rarely see a chemtrail, really. I mean, occasionally you will, but it's not like in Humboldt County, man, I saw them choo, 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 all over the place. So leave me some comments, guys. What do you think the chemtrails are? What are they spraying the skies with, and what effect does that have? Jesse, hello from Tampa. Hello from Midwest of USA. We are fortunately just about to get some nice rain, which we have been needing. Here in the Midwest of America, it's kind of like, it's the kind of thing where you typically don't have to irrigate, as opposed to like when I was in Northern California, or when I saw the farms in like Morocco and places like that, Spain, where they have dry seasons where it doesn't rain for 6 months, period. You hear the thunder? It doesn't rain at all, so you have to irrigate your crops, otherwise nothing is growing. Here, we pretty much can rely on the rain, although this year it hasn't been very reliable, nor was the year before last very reliable at all. We need rain in Pennsylvania too. I can't remember the last time we had a good rainstorm. Ooh, yeah. It's just essential. I mean, it's crazy. You can be out there with your watering wand for an hour and a half, dousing everything with the water, and it still doesn't even bat an eye. It doesn't even hold a flame, or whatever the saying is, hold a candle to 10 minutes of good solid downpour. I mean, there's just nothing. The ions that are charged in the rain and the microbial activity that comes from the rain, if you do, like I have done, and put rainwater underneath a microscope, it is bursting with life, as opposed to the tap water that is not bursting with life. Okay, so that's a very good indicator of why the rainwater works so much better. Hello from Europe in Asia, from European in Asia. Okay, yes. Hello. Hello Trish, good to see you here again. Bryce Wolf. Is that the Bryce Wolf I went to school with? No way. Good morning, sir. Thank you for all your hard work on this channel. You are very welcome, my friend. I'm glad that you guys are catching that you guys are tuning in. I'm glad that this is catching on. I mean, I'm seeing from all you guys, a lot of people are into the growing your own food stuff, which this is good now that we're ahead of the curve, because like it or not, in the months and years to come, in the new world that is sort of developing, everyone's going to have to be doing this anyways, whether you like it or not. So it's best that you learn all of these techniques and tactics. You practice them right now while we've got this free form of communication. The internet is mind-blowingly valuable when it comes to learning things. I mean, YouTube, for example, I owe so much to YouTube over the years. It's incredible. And so we just give this information and we exchange it and we ask questions and we experiment. Yes, this is what we do. But man, I tell you though, you have to be careful though, because YouTube and the internet in general is ripe with people that are doing something for the very first time and they make a video about it. I can't tell you, I can just sense when I watch someone's video and I'm sitting there, okay, and I'm watching their video and I'm saying, based upon the way that you're moving and the things that you're saying, even though you haven't directly said, this is my very first time doing it, I can tell you have never done this before, yet you're making a video about it. You need, if you're going to do that, you need to explicitly state right in the beginning, guys, this is my first time doing this. Learn with me. Nothing wrong with that. But don't present yourself as if you know if you don't know. That's one reason I started this channel, because I see it everywhere and it's kind of like a little bit irritating to me. You know, and so that's just my rant about that. You know, you have to be upfront or just don't make the video, guys. It's easy to regurgitate information. So, okay, I read this somewhere and then I see this a lot in the comments of the videos and stuff like that. People are, well, I do this or this way because, and then they say stuff that I know that they just regurgitated from something that they read, that they don't have experiential knowledge. Hello from Spain. Hello. 90% of the stuff on YouTube is someone else's mistakes. That's a good way to put it, Graham. Jesse says, I've seen that. Hello from Saskatchewan, up north. Drew, when's you guys' first last frost date? Or when's your first frost date? How much longer do you got left in the season? Good morning. Say good morning to Heather McLean and family for me, please. Jeremy says, okay, hello, Heather McLean and family, good morning. Cinnamon 1, good morning. Hope everyone is doing well. Yes. We are doing very well. Brad Lucas says, we're on spring water, so much life. Oh man, spring water is the best in Northern California. I know I keep talking about it, but that's where I found my passion for growing, and that's just what I was doing day and night. But in Northern Cali, man, we had the artesian wells. That's the best source of water. Just the earth, just once it's filtered through the earth, it just comes right out with nice pressure, and it's just perfectly balanced. It's just perfect. Artesian well, spring water is perfect. Jesse, yeah, nothing like experience. That's very right. Angela Melo says, good afternoon, everyone. Love from Okeechobee, Florida. Growing and learning. That is what it's all about, my friends. Growing and learning. And it's very important that we do the thing that we learn about, because, okay, there is information, but then information without experience is not very useful. So you have to have information, but then combine that with experience. That creates knowledge. And knowledge is what it's all about. Yes, the pursuit of knowledge is a very worthwhile objective. Okay. Now, Graham says, I found a great way to get rid of my slugs. Collect slugs and get the nematodes from them when the slugs die, and put the cloudy liquid into your soil diluted. It's the same as the product you buy. Okay, Graham, now, do you have experience with that? Has that actually worked? Has that got rid of the slugs? To where I know exactly what you're talking about. You're cultivating the parasitic nematode, and then you're reinfecting them with an amplified version of the parasitic nematode. How has that worked for you? Please advise. Nestle will take over the spring if they find out. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, don't say nothing, because they'll take it over and make $68,000 per 1,000 gallons. I wanted that coffee recipe. Oh, this is not coffee. This is tea with cardamom, cloves, ginger, and a little bit of lemon balm, fresh lemon balm. Yes, boil it all together with some raw honey. Good morning from Gold Coast, Australia. Hello, Desmond. And beer gets rid of slugs. Well, beer attracts slugs, actually. And it's my feeling and my experience that putting out traps for slugs just attracts more slugs, actually, and gives them a way to... I've got the ultimate slug control, which I still haven't made a video about, I know, but it's because I haven't had to make the solution because I don't have slug issues at the moment. In the springtime, I got slug issues, but there's a magical spray that you can spray that instantly melts slugs, okay? Let me know in the comments if you want to see it, even though I know you do. But I always say that. I always say leave me a comment if you want to see the video, because I have to make sure if I'm going to make a video about something, I want there to be a lot of interest in it. There has to be, you know, I'm not going to make a video if nobody wants to see it. And looks nice from here. Nope. Graham says, nope, but I've been watching some good science videos. I'm going out to collect some today. I have a microscope and checked my beer catch, and they're there but dead. I need to use water. Okay, well, let me know how that works for you, okay? Now, I want to answer a few questions that I've been getting from you guys. Number one question I'm getting constantly, and that's fine, I love questions, but I don't want to just answer the same exact question over and over and over, is how long do I let the fish fertilizer ferment before I can use it? Now, this, even though I stated in the video, I'll say it again, that the fish fertilizer, you make it, and then depending on the environment, meaning depending on the heat, it can be ready to use anywhere from about a month to 3 months and beyond. It gets better with time, but wait at least a month. If it's in the blazing sun, which you should just leave it in the sun, and then it will speed the decomposition rapidly. So if you live in a really hot area, like I saw one of you is from Saudi Arabia, if you use that, or if you do that, then yes, it will be ready within a month. But just skim off what you need, dilute it 1 ounce a gallon, but then it will just keep getting better with time. So 6 months or a year from now, within a year, it is 100% finished. It should be pretty much everything totally broken down. But you don't have to wait that long to begin using it, because you can start pulling off the top of it and utilizing it. And then once it gets down to about halfway, then you can add more water, okay? Angela Melo says, you're right, Mr. Viking. The truth will set us free. Absolutely. That is more true and true every day in this world we are living in. Let's see. I Run Amok says, questions are really well received here. I've asked some doozies. Yeah, I know you have, my friend, but I like answering questions, you know, because not only is it well, I mean, it helps you guys out, of course. It also helps me out because it trains the mind to, okay, I've got this life experience that I've been having for these years, but only really recently have I started to let it out. And it feels good to let it out, but it's also a skill to be succinct. That's what I've found, is that it's a skill to develop, to be able to communicate a topic thoroughly in as few words as possible. Because in our day and age, everyone wants to get your attention and then sit there and hold it for a long time. So I'm gonna talk and talk so I can make a 20-minute video when I could have made a 7-minute video and really just got to the point a lot clearer. Because when you use more words, people just kind of glaze over and it's like what gets confusing. So I've found that it's a good skill. So when you guys ask me questions, it's training my mind to quickly be able to succinctly and concisely deliver a response, which is great, you know. But like I said, the same question over and over has to, you know, we got to do something about that, which none of you guys are because you watch the live streams and I answer a lot of stuff in the live streams. Next thing is, can I use fresh or frozen, or can I use frozen fish for the fish fertilizer? Yes, you can. If that's all you have access to, you can use frozen fish. If you don't have access to any of that, you can use canned fish. It is possible, yes. It's just, it's best if you can catch some real, oh, hello, Crystal, my old friend. I went to school with Crystal. Yes, You can use canned, but it's best if you just wait until you can get some real fish. Just go to the river or wherever it is. It doesn't matter how polluted the source of water is, because we're not consuming the fish directly. That's why one of the ponds where I get my fish from for the fertilizers is right in the middle of farm fields. And so it's just toxic with farm runoff. I mean, I wouldn't eat the fish out of there. If I was starving, of course I would, but I'm eating the fish in a different way. So to all the people that say, that's wasting fish, making fertilizer out of it. No, it's not. We are eating every part of the fish, just through a different route, by nurturing and fertilizing the soil. That's how we're eating the fish. So, but to finish that question, can I use frozen or canned fish? Yes, you can, but it's best to have fresh. The absolute best is to go to the river or to the pond or wherever it is, or the ocean preferably. If you're by the ocean, the best fish is ocean fish. But if you don't have that, then just get the fresh fish and make it that night. Bring it right home, put it right into the barrel with the leaf mold, okay? Let's see. I went to my local Asian store and asked for fish fertilizer. They gave me about 15 pounds of scraps for free. Nice. Yeah, see, a lot of them people, the places like that, that's a burden to them. They don't, they're like, well, yeah, if you want some of these guts and bones and stuff, absolutely, take it and make the good stuff with it. Let's see, Bryce says, thank you for all your fermentation videos. Hope to see more in the future. Yes, I am your former classmate. Are you being for real? That's pretty crazy if it is. But yes, then hope to see more in the future. Yeah, the fermentation videos are definitely going to be coming. I mean, we ferment all kinds of stuff. Mustard greens, which hopefully you watched the last video I had and you planted your mustard greens. That's another thing you can still plant by seed for right now, okay? They only need a good month, and then they've got about 2 weeks. Once it starts frosting, they've still got about 2 good weeks to where once the plant senses it's frosting, then it like kicks it into overdrive and really tries to grow as much as it can. And we will ferment the mustard greens, we'll ferment tomatoes, we ferment mustard, actual stone ground type mustard, whole seed mustard. We are gonna ferment the hot sauce because I got all kinds of peppers and stuff. So you'll see, a lot of good stuff. Let's see, Roger says, I got mine from a local fishmonger, 20 kgs of frames and guts for free. Man, that's awesome. Put it in a big barrel with the leaf mold soil, and there we go. Let me see. And I don't really understand the process to reduce the tincture itself. I'm not sure what, I was not on that. We stand on the shoulders of giants, so it is also good to balance your own experience with the knowledge of others who have more experience. That is correct, my friend. Let me see. Okay, and so, yes, go orange and brown. Okay. Bryce, man, you're always a very clever guy. I knew that. So yes, only you would know that. So it is you. Good, wonderful to see. Where are you living now, man? Are you in the fort? Anyways, so next thing is about the sulfur. Okay, a lot of comments about the sulfur video. Now, a couple of things. One, I am not a chemistry major. Okay, I have as good of an understanding of that kind of thing as I need to have to be effective in my field of expertise or whatever. So a lot of people are talking about, well, that's not exactly correct. What you're creating is sulfur hexametasulfate and the chemical reaction and blah, blah, blah. And okay, that's good and that's fine. And I respect that you have that kind of knowledge and that's great. But that's not the point of this video, is to get all nitpicky about the exact vernacular that is being used or something like that, okay? Because that's how people just glaze over. When you start talking about trisodium hexathetasulfate and all these things, they just glaze over, okay? And then they don't do it. So you just keep it simple. It's being chemically melted, okay? We're just combining these two ingredients, it's chemically melting it and creating a new substance. That's all you need to know to do it, okay? And about the protective gear, yeah, I know that I didn't wear protective gear when I did it, but a couple of things. One is that, you know, when you do something so many times for long enough, you know what you can get away with, more or less, okay? So that's kind of what I was doing. And also, I feel like it brought more attention to the fact that you need to wear protective gear, the fact that I wasn't. So I was actually sacrificing myself for science in many ways, okay? So the important thing with the sulfur, or I'm about to show you guys how to make the JADAM wetting agent, the Castile soap, is that you gotta follow the instructions, my friends. So what most people, and it would be astonishing if I didn't know this already about the human nature, but people have a very difficult time just following instructions. Even if it's simple, they think, well, that doesn't apply to me. Or, well, my situation is unique. Everyone wants to be unique in some way, you know, or that, well, okay, that's good, but there's one guy in the comments of the sulfur video that says, well, nobody needs to make this much of it, so instead I did it this way. And then he goes to list a huge, and then he puts this amount in a beaker, and then he puts it onto a hot plate, and then he does this and does that. And I'm so, whoa, all these different things. So completely different from what the video is saying. And I was like, okay, well, if you're that clever, then go ahead and do that. But then a couple of days later, I see another message from the same person that says, this didn't turn out anything like you said it would. This has got sediment all over the place. And I said, well, that's because you didn't follow instructions. Man, it's super simple. So respect the process, okay? That's what I'm saying. It's so important. And then experiment after you have got a solid foundation of what you're working with. So make the fertilizers, make the ferments, use them, but then, use them considerably, and then observe and observe and observe. And then just gently try to experiment to other things. That's the way, that's how we're gonna have success. Not just immediately see something and then without even doing it, think that I can do it a different way. I can do it a better way, or that I need to do it a different way. It's already been done, my friends. Young Sung Chao, the master himself. So, and this isn't I run amok. Everyone hit that like button. That's right. You always remind me of that. Thank you. I'm not good at that, just because I don't like it when people's always asking, you know, the very first thing in videos, hey guys, so today we're gonna first subscribe to the channel and then do all this other stuff that helps me out. Before I've even seen value in the video? That doesn't make sense. That's why I put it at the very end. But my true believer, the people, they already know. Just as soon as they watch the video, thumbs up. Let's see. I think you're allowed to delete comments if people are encouraging others to do things that you're not comfortable with. That is true. Yeah. Oh yeah, we're definitely allowed to delete comments. And thank you for saying that. But I am a firm believer in just the all-around free speech. You know, just if you want to say that, go ahead. But I made the video and I know exactly what I'm talking about. Just follow, you know, so I've never once deleted a comment of any kind. Unless, I haven't done it, but in the future, maybe if there was some kind of like really degrading or insulting thing to somebody, but so far it's all good. Anything that you see on this channel, if I put the JADAM label on it, if I say according to JADAM, it's 100% guaranteed to be exactly the technique and method that Young Sung has described. Because I'm very good at following instructions. Because I don't have that, well, I know better. So I can just, okay, teach me, show me, okay. And then I observe it and I retain it. So, and then I will show you exactly how it's done from that, how I learned it. But then there's many other things that are not JADAM. You know, this channel is not a JADAM channel or a KNF channel or anything. It's like a Viking. The spirit of the Viking is to explore and go to other lands and to incorporate. When you see something that's useful, you incorporate it and you disregard the rest. absorb what is useful and disregard the rest. That is attributed to Bruce Lee, his philosophy, absorb what is useful, disregard the rest. It's that simple. And so we take certain things, I see if they work, and then I hold on to the things that work, and then let go of the things that don't really work, and that's how we arrive, my friends. So, are you sitting in the dark right now? Maybe light a candle or two. The candlelight will go well with your outfit. Hey, that's a good idea. But no, it's actually thunderstorming, which is pretty awesome. So I would, but I don't have a lighter. Yeah, I should light the candle, shouldn't I? Like this. I know it's getting really dark, but I hope that it actually rains, though. I hope that it's not just a bunch of fluff. Because we definitely need the rain. Let's see, can you guys see back here? I know the window's pretty dirty, but man, it is just bursting with life. There is so many things that are growing. The cucumbers, so many, hundreds of them. Pickles and all different kinds of stuff. All the flowers are in full bloom. The whole thing is just swarming with pollinators all day. And I just replanted the fall garden, that whole side, a bunch of other well, a couple weeks ago now, cabbages and collard greens and all this other kind of stuff. Says window is fine. Yeah, thank you. I don't get real hung up about things like, you know, the window being clean and all that kind of stuff, because it's just not that important to the actual functioning of the window. So, okay, I got a lighter. Let me see if I can light the candle now, because it is getting really dark, isn't it? Yeah. So here we go. And maybe it will. Well, this is fun. Yeah. Who has time to clean windows? Outside is more important. That's absolutely right. I mean, the only time that I would clean it is if it's hurting the houseplants, which, guys, I'm going to be making a whole series about houseplants come the fall time. So don't worry, because I'm also a little bit of a houseplant aficionado / lunatic. So Bob Vila, oh man, is it the real Bob Vila? Sorry if it's already been asked. I tried to look back. What are some good fall plants? Okay, I did make a couple videos about the fall plants, but remember, any of the greens, at about this time, if you've only got less than 50 days, just focus on the greens. Cilantro, spinach, bok choy, collards, kale, all those kind of things. Any of the oriental greens, it all is going to grow really well right now. And it's going to sprout a lot faster than it did in the springtime. Remember that, because in the springtime, the soil was wet and cold. But now the soil is nice and warm. And so that is going to dramatically, it's going to like 3 times as fast. The stuff will sprout, okay? So go ahead and do that. Okay, I just lit 2 candles. How about that? Bryce says, where is a good place to buy seeds this time of year in any given city? I'm running behind, but still want to plant some greens. You know, I know that's I mean, I'm so stocked on seeds, but most of the places have put their seeds away for the season. And so you probably are going to have to go online. True Leaf Market, which I put a link to in the description of a lot of the videos, they got real good stuff. And that's where I'm going to be recommending that you guys order the cover crop seeds and the microgreen seeds and the sprouting seeds, which we're going to be doing all that stuff this winter, because the growing does not stop when the outside stops, okay? But also, Lowe's remove seeds from stores. Website says unavailable. Yeah, it's past that time. So Baker Creek Seeds is another great one. You go to rareseeds.com and they ship for free and fast. I mean, that stuff gets there. I ordered some daikon radish and like 5 days later, the package was here, okay? So if you're in Indiana, we still got time, okay? Baker Creek has free shipping and they give you free seeds if you pack it if you order 4 or more items. Yeah, it's true. It's really good. I'm in Texas. What is a good fertilizer for potatoes? Man, any of the ones that you have seen on this channel actually are going to be pretty much good for potatoes. Even even, remember, I'm doing the experiment with the ash, and I am fertilizing the potatoes with the ash. And so far, the plants are perfectly healthy, just like any others. I haven't noticed any noticeable difference. Now, once we dig out the tubers in another couple of weeks, that may be another story. We'll see. But for now, but the potatoes, the liquid fertilizer, man, you just use the liquid fertilizer. That is the best stuff. The JADAM liquid fertilizer. You can also use the urea. It's a little bit late to be using the urea, the urine fertilizer. So fish fertilizer is still really good. Okay, Angela Melo, $4. Thank you for the tip, my friend. That's always lovely to get. And so remember to get heirloom seeds and collect seeds. Save your own seeds. Be your own seed producer. That is correct. Definitely remember to get the heirloom seeds. Heirloom means that the seed that you plant is going to make a plant that is then going to produce seed that will produce another plant that is true to the original kind. You understand? The hybrid kinds, if you try to save seed from a hybrid plant and then plant that, it will not come out right. It will not, because it reverts back immediately. For the most part, there might be some that you can save seeds from, but no, heirloom means that you can save the seeds and replant it again. Although I'm going to have to make a video about seed saving, of course, because there's some plants that give people a rude awakening the next year when they go to plant them. For example, peppers and corn are two very prominent examples of that. If you have a sweet pepper and a hot pepper, or any different kinds of peppers in the same pollinator vicinity, and then you save the seeds from those peppers, the following year, oh, the rain is here. The following year, it will produce a plant that is a blend of the two characteristics. So, for example, I learned this by wondering, why do my jalapenos now the next year have zero heat whatsoever? And why are my bell peppers slightly spicy? They're supposed to be zero on the Scoville units. So if you've only got one type of pepper, then yes. And none of your neighbors around have a chance of cross-pollination, then yes. Or you can just plant them and see what you get, you know. But corn, definitely. If you're doing dry corn, like the glass gem corn that I do, has to be way, 5 miles away at the Three Sisters garden, because I do sweet corn here. And those will mix, and you'll get a real gnarly tasting, real foul kind of thing. There's all different kinds of little tips and tricks, but if you are going to save seed, remember to let the plant go full life cycle. Let it go as far as you can. Cucumbers and stuff, let them get real big and nasty and yellow, and then they'll start to almost turn slimy. That's fine. Okay, you want it because that's how it happens in nature, is that the whole life cycle of the plant happens. Peas as well. Wait until the peas are rattling. You flick them and it's like a baby's rattle, or the rattlesnake. You want them to be that dry. Beans as well, all of that stuff. You want it to be bone dry. Lonnie says, I have a lot of cedar chips. Can I put them in my compost? Yes, absolutely you can. You can put them in your compost. I would recommend also adding the urea, the urine, to give it some nitrogen, because in order to break down carbon material, the microorganisms require nitrogen. And so in a way, it will sort of pull nitrogen from the soil. That's a generic term that it doesn't actually pull it out of the soil, but the microorganism activity makes the nitrogen temporarily unavailable. It will become available again once it's broken down, but during the breakdown process, it ties up nitrogen. So if you add nitrogen, that's really going to help that process. Brad says, we're coming into spring and we'll be planting our first saved seeds from last year. Looking forward to the outcome. Wonderful. So you must be obviously in the southern hemisphere. Oh yes, I think you said down under, right? Will you have a greenhouse? Plan on doing one? Not here in this environment. Once I get some land somewhere and restart the homestead and all that, I will again have a greenhouse. In California, I had many greenhouses, big greenhouses. I had 6 greenhouses that were like 25 by 100 each one. But here, no, not at the moment. I don't have any, but I will again when I get the homestead property, which is somewhere on the horizon. I don't know how exactly yet or where, but it's gonna happen. I can feel it. Lonnie says, okay. Can you save hybrid pepper seeds? Thank you from South Carolina. James, you can try. I don't think so though. I don't, pretty much anything with a hybrid is designed so that you can't save the seeds, you know, and so it reverts back. You're not gonna get the same thing. All right, Bob Vila says, a warning with cedar though, it is a deterrent to pests, even some beneficial ones. Best used as a border for plants you want to keep bugs away from. Okay, yeah, fair enough. Cedar, I guess I don't have enough experience directly only using cedar to be able to say, you know, because I'm sure you're talking like cedar chips, like from the horse bedding or something like this. And let me look here. Cedar chips, a sweet pepper. Trish says, I planted way too many different squash types close together this year, thinking I can't save the seeds from this year's harvest. Now, if they're of the same family, which, yes, most of the, if it's like the butternuts and stuff like that, and you have like a Tahitian melon and a honey nut and then a butternut, yeah, they're probably gonna cross. They're gonna cross. Oh man, this is just the best time of life. I mean, this is like the best time. It's raining and about 75 degrees and everything is in full growth mode and it's just awesome. I just love that, okay? That's one reason I liked living in Humboldt County for so long, because for 6 months of the year, it's like this, nice and overcast and real foggy and rainy, and the redwoods are growing. It's beautiful. Lonnie, I have a ton of cedar trees, so I've been cutting them for firewood and chipping the limbs. Okay, yeah, if you've been chipping the limbs with the leaves, the green part, then that's going to dramatically cut down the decomposition time. And so yes, if you're chipping the whole limbs, leave the leaves and everything like that, it's going to produce pretty much like a compost. So I would say you're good to use it wherever you want to use it. There's not gonna be any issues with that. But if you're just using just the core of the wood, there might be some issues in the sense that it will take a long time to break down, okay? Can you send some of the weather this way? Could use a gorgeous summer thunderstorm. Oh, I know, man, you're not kidding. It is just, you know, that feeling you go outside in the rain and just the sensation and the smell. Hello, everyone. Hello, Ruben Cervantes. California misses rain. Oh, I'm sure, yeah. I was in the north, in Humboldt, of course, where it didn't rain for 6 months, but then it did rain for 6 months nonstop. I have property in central Michigan. I could use some participation on 40 acres, 12 tillable. Wow. Yeah, that's nice. 40 acres in Michigan, man, that'd be ideal. Mine is, I'm talking about like a homestead, you know, with digging it's all absolutely planned out. Just from things that I've seen in the world and ways that I've seen it and ways that we were doing it there in California and all of this. That candlelight is actually pretty epic. Ha, thank you. Yeah, I think so too. It's actually kind of fun. We're set to get 4 to 6 inches of rain. You're in Oklahoma, you're at the border of Oklahoma and Texas. Man, that's awesome, I guess, right? I mean, or is that flood conditions? Beautiful morning here in southern Maine, says Ruth. Good day to everyone. Yes, good day. Where would you like to set up your homestead? You know, that is yet to be determined. I mean, my heart is in Humboldt, is in the Northwest. Anywhere the redwoods grow, it's just a different energy of the world. So probably on the Pacific somewhere, or maybe right here in northern Indiana, you know, because land is really the most affordable, or up in Michigan a little ways. It's more just about, I don't know exactly. It's just the opportunity will come in some way, as all opportunities have and do. And I'll know the right one when it comes, for sure. The right opportunity, the right circumstance. And then that will be it. That will be, I will establish the homestead, and then I will establish a type of school so that you guys can come to the homestead and learn these things hands-on. That's really what I want it to be for. So that, you know, I'll be growing and everything 100%, all my own everything, of course, all of our own everything. But then the school, the learning aspect is what will be the best. Yes? And combined with spirituality aspects, of course, you can't really, to me, you can't separate the two. You can't separate the land and growing and the earth and the spirit, the spirituality aspect. They're one and the same. So, hi Nate from Devon in Southern Indiana. I love what you are doing. Keep up the videos and lives. Your knowledge is priceless. Much love, bro. Thank you, Devon. I appreciate the positive feedback. Anytime you guys are leaving feedback like that is really appreciated, you know, because even if I don't respond to all the comments, I read all the comments. There's getting to be a lot now, so, which is great, but sometimes I can't respond to all of them, you know, so don't feel bad. But I appreciate all of the positive energy or any kind of feedback. If there's something that you say, hey, you know, it'd be a lot better if you did this or that, I can accept that as well, okay? So don't be afraid. To be truthful. So let me see. Lower Michigan now. Did 6 years on a homestead outside of Fairbanks. Whoa, Fairbanks. That would be the real deal. Okay. Let's see. Our local community could use teachers like that. Oh man, yeah. Oh, are you talking about in the Ozarks? Yeah, I'm sure. Man, I've actually found that in a lot of places, you know, that there's, well, even in Northern California and stuff, there was all kinds of little communities like that and stuff, but there's a lot of ego involved in that. The people that haven't really worked through their own ego in the sense that to just let the spirit of the earth flow through them. So it was really, there was still a lot of conflict and bickering and strife and all of this, just things that didn't need to be there. But then I've also been and lived in communities where that was not present, where people were healed and were whole within themselves. And so that's the real beauty. Jeremy, you're formally invited to come pay me a visit. I like the school idea. Where are you at? Jeremy Shea? Where are you at? No, Fort Wayne. Oh, yes, definitely, Crystal. Yeah, that would be something that would be good here as well. Because, and this is where things are grown in the Midwest. I mean, this is where things are grown, but man, to try to get to any of these people to talk about the old ways and the non-conventional ways, it's just like, oh my God, because yield is king and profit is king. And so you have to rape the land and pillage the land and grow as much as you can, as fast as you can, so that you can get as much money as you can. Because otherwise I'll lose the farm and all this other stuff, which I understand. I understand the predicament that the farmers are in. But something has to give. You can't just continue to pillage the land forever, indefinitely. Because eventually the land is not going to have anything left to yield. Because when you don't nourish it, and you just keep taking from it, it's kind of like if you had a bank account that started out with $100 million in it, and you just keep withdrawing from it and withdrawing from it and withdrawing from it, and never put back anything into it. Even though you had $100 million, eventually that account is going to get down to zero, okay? Because you didn't put anything into it. And so that's exactly where we are heading. We went from 100 million way down to code red, high alert. You got nothing, hardly anything left in the bank account. Okay, that's where we're at, and that's got to change. It's gonna change one way or the other. Either the land just quits yielding, and so many people starve, and we have to revert back to everyone growing their own stuff. Have you heard the figures that in 1949, 40% of vegetables was grown in people's backyards in America, in the United States? 40%. because everyone had a garden and was dramatically offsetting their food cost. That was in 1949. Do you know what it is now? Do you know what percentage the figures say it is now? 1/10 of 1% of people's food supply is grown in backyard gardens. 1/10 of 1%, as opposed to 40% in 1949. You see how this has happened? That we are in a very severe predicament. It's so fragile. We're dependent and reliant upon the ultra mega fragile supply chain and all of this. Hey, who just gave me that $10? Brad, thank you very much, my friend. Brad sends 10. Those are Australian dollars. What is that, like $9.98? I don't know. Thank you, my friend. And well, I was on a rant somewhere, but that's fine. Yeah, victory gardens. That's exactly the spirit of victory, the spirit of the earth. And what's a real victory? Doing for ourselves, not having to go to the store for every little thing. Think about once you start to see it, you can't unsee it. It's everywhere, and you see, once you begin to see how fragile everyone's lives are and the supply chain and where they get stuff and how disconnected they've all become from what sustains them, it's like you wake up and you're like, oh my Odin, I cannot believe how fragile everyone's life is. In terms of if the slightest little thing happened, oh, thunder. And if the slightest little thing happened, you can't feed yourself. And what happens if just for a couple of weeks, the supply lines were disrupted and there was mad run on the grocery store? And don't say it can't happen. It could easily happen. What would happen then and everyone just, well, I ran out of Hot Pockets and Pop-Tarts and the bags of Doritos, and how am I going to get my Mountain Dew? How do you grow Mountain Dew? Well, okay, my friends, you just kind of screwed. So just forget it in that situation. Just forget about it. Just keep playing the games and just keep living that lifestyle. But for the other people that are like, whoa, yeah, what would I do? And how, okay, then we have to plan for that and think about that in some way. Okay, we have to make it so that we have to unfragilize our lifestyle voluntarily before it's forced upon us. Okay, Mrs. P, $4.99. Thank you very much, my friend. Yes, and the industrial food is nutritionally devoid. Absolutely correct. In the wintertime, I will be making videos explaining how that is happening and why that is happening. A lot of people, Pop-Tarts are life. Come on, my friend. A lot of people do not understand how that's possible. When you try and tell them, when you say, this apple that we have today only contains about 1/8 of the nutrition or less that the same apple did during our grandparents' age. And then they think, well, that's a conspiracy theory. No, it's not, my friend. So I can explain to you exactly how that is the case. It's devoid of nourishment. That's one reason that, do you remember just even our grandparents' age? If you look at old footage and stuff like that, and you see these people like in this, I'm talking this pre-1980, and especially in the 40s, 50s, 60s, and you see these people and everyone is nice and trim, everyone. And you see that even though they smoked, they're constantly smoking cigarettes, and a lot of them drank too much and stuff like that, and they ate a lot of salt and fat and all of that, they still did not have the epidemic of obesity and heart disease and diabetes and all of that. Why is that? There is a cause for that. It's multiple causes, but one is that the food that they were eating had way more nourishment and more minerals in it. People's mind has become so demineralized, their bodies become demineralized, and it has to do with what you put in the body. And if you don't have the appropriate amounts of things into the body, you're not going to be able to function properly. And add to that all of the chemicals that have been put into the food, then it's guaranteed disaster. It is guaranteed disaster. That's how you see little kids with morbid obesity. What? Kids are not supposed to be obese, my friends. You can just see it on them. Just how the big fat, and I'm talking, I live in America, okay? It's not this way in other countries, although it's becoming increasingly so. Sterling says salt and fat are good. Absolutely, I agree. Good real salt and real fats are good for the body. And so the ferments and all of that, people are like, oh, there's so much salt. Yes, but it's just different. Salt is not an enemy of the body. Neither is fat. I eat tons of oils, a lot of oils. It helps the brain. It helps the spirit. It helps everything. But you need to be eating real stuff. The best things are the things you grow yourself in soil that is bursting with life. So the soil food web is going to give you everything that you need. So there's going to be all the nourishment and the vitamins and the minerals that you need are going to be in the homegrown food. Okay, after just a couple of seasons of farming like this, your soil is going to be like gold. It's going to give forth life because it is life. Life comes from the soil in a way. We can philosophize about where consciousness and all of that, but life comes from the soil, my friends. We are just soil rearranged in a different manner and then breathe life into. The body is the soil and it will return to the soil. Every living organism comes from and does return to the soil, my friends. So even in Asia, Jose says, even in Asia, you can see obese children, something their grandparents never saw. You're absolutely right. And even I noticed the difference because the first time I went to India was in 2009, as opposed to the last time I went was in like 2016. Even in that 5, 7, 6, 7 years, I noticed a big difference. The kids are, anyone that was affluent in some way, meaning had more of a Western lifestyle, were fat. They were fat. Whereas all the other people were not. My friends, this is a major issue. You cannot overstate it. Becky says, can you use jalapenos instead of cayennes in the pesticide recipe? You can use any kind of hot pepper, yes, because it's all about the capsicum. So ideally, ghost peppers or something like that. Angela Melo says, pharmacy. That's right. That's exactly right with the farm. And again, the philosophy is all things are one. Everything is one. And so the soil and me are one, as I just described. We are soil rearranged. But also my food and my medicine are one, because a healthy body doesn't need medicine. So more important than worrying about acquiring medicines and making medicines, make a body that is robust enough that doesn't require it. And it is possible. It has to do with what you put into the body and the mind. The physical things that you put in, but also the information that you feed your mind. You feed your body food that has certain levels of cleanliness, but also your mind is fed information that has certain levels of cleanliness. Infotoxins, toxic information, clogs up the mind and the way of thinking that in turn manifests itself in the body. I could go on and on about this kind of stuff, my friends. This is definitely... Can nutritionally deficient soil be fixed just through compost, or do we need to import amendments? That's a great question, and no, we do not need to import amendments. You can if you want to, but no. Contrary to popular I know I say this a lot, but it's because it's true. Contrary to popular understanding, your soil contains every single mineral that the plant needs to thrive. The only issue is that it is locked up and unusable to the plant because of a lack of microorganism activity. So by increasing and restoring the microorganism activity of the soil, you are going to unlock the minerals that are there. So even heavy, thick clay soil has the minerals in it. Now you will need to do things as far as creating leaf mold and different, using cover crops and keeping a living root in the ground to feed the community of microorganisms. But no, you do not need to import anything. And I'm talking pretty much anyone, anywhere. Now, there might be a few exceptions, but it's all about microorganism activity, the whole thing. You are what you eat in every way. You are what you eat and you experience what you think. You become what your predominant mental state is. If you worry all the time and you're stressing out about things that might happen, bad things will seem to happen to you. If you're worried, if you constantly focus on the negative aspects of things, your life becomes that negative perspective. It works this way, my friends. I know that you know it. Let's see. The China study by Colin Campbell studied the phenomenon of the affluent population and consequent related illness. Good read. Thank you, Drew. I will check that out, even though I already know that from my observations throughout the world and seeing this. Man, when I was hiking in the Khumbu region of Nepal in the Himalayas on my way to the base camp of Mount Everest, the people there were so robust, it was unbelievable. They were super trim, but wiry and just strong as an ox. I mean, these Sherpa men were carrying 4x4, huge hand-hewn 4x4 logs, multiples of them, on their back, up the mountain, wearing flip-flops in the freezing cold. And it was just unbelievable. And there I was, like with my super lightweight backpack and all my top dollar, Western American gear and all that stuff. And I thought it was so difficult at the time. And then I was like looking at these people like, oh my God. And then I come see, and then I observe, I stay with them. I stayed in their houses and I ate with them. They eat yak meat, a green, a type of kale, and rice, and then a broth made from yak for every meal. That's like all that they eat. It's pure and clean, and they're breathing the fresh air, and they just drink spring and river water. And that's it. And that's why. That's one reason. That they were incredibly, unbelievably healthy. And their complexion was good. It's just, you can see it. When the people are healthy and thriving, how human beings are supposed to live, or meant to live. Watching the television programming helps promote fear. That's right. Television tells lies to your vision. Yeah, Ralph Smart. I remember hearing him say that a long time ago. Oh, absolutely. Yeah. The programming, oh man, I'm going to keep that kind of stuff to my other channel. So if you want to hear more of this kind of stuff like I've been talking about the past 10 minutes, then you can subscribe to my channel. My other channel is just Nate Muri. And there I will be doing talks like this about this kind of topics. And in the future, definitely this fall, I'm going to start that channel back up. Nutritionally deficient soil definitely exists, but usually the nutrients are just deeper in the soil. So if you use deep-rooted cover crops, you usually won't need to import. Yes, that makes sense. I agree with this, definitely. Definitely, if you're using the native things that are going deep into the earth and mining the minerals out and then storing them into their plant tissue, and then they fall and you compost them or they decompose or whatever it is, yes, full of minerals. Slow motion this side. Whoa. Yeah, Trish. Can you describe the smell of the rice water when it's ready to have milk added to it? I live in the Caribbean, very hot and humid. Okay, BJ Charles says that. Now, your time is going to be like a fraction of what ours would be. So it's only going to take a day or two, and it will smell like cheese. Thank you, Mick. $4.99. Appreciate that. The rice wash water will smell like cheese, and it will have like a sour kind of, watch the video to where I describe it. But it's not foul though. It's important that it's not foul. If it smells like rotten, then like garbage, then it's gone too long. And if it smells like just rice, then it's not gone long enough. And it doesn't always work every time. I don't know exactly what factors determine this, but it doesn't always work every time. Sometimes you will have to make another rice wash. It just doesn't collect the appropriate bacteria for some reason. So maybe if it doesn't work, switch to a different kind of rice. That's what I've had to do. Go from like basmati to jasmine or something like this. Mrs. P, discovered the hard way. I have to broad fork my compacted clay before amendments will be of any use, even planting deep-rooted cover crops. Yeah, and it definitely depends on what has happened there in the area. Like this in the Midwest and stuff, this 300 years ago was just an endless expanse of old growth forest. A squirrel could go from the Mississippi to the Atlantic without ever touching the ground. I remember reading that in all these pioneer books. I used to be into pioneers and Indians when I was a kid, so I'd read all these books, and they used to say that a lot. And so it was all just old growth forest, and the trees and the roots of everything is what gave the soil life. And there was thousands of years of topsoil built up. Well, because of our devastating practices, that is all washed away. That has all been just pissed away into the rivers and all of that. Most of it is gone. And we're at the point where there's very little topsoil left. So people are like, well, we just got real horrible clay soil here. Well, it wasn't always like that, I can tell you that. So we have to rebuild it. We have to rebuild it. You have to broad fork in the amendments, try to get some living roots in the ground year round, and start adding the amendments. And leaves on top are going to attract the earthworms. Earthworms are going to put the holes through the things that you need. If you go out into my garden and you just scoop up a handful of the soil, you will see earthworms all over the place. And then all winter long, and you'll see how I do it, I make an environment that is very hospitable to the earthworms so that you can go out there and dig down into it, and there's all kinds of earthworm activity. Reed of Urantia, $5. Thank you, my friend. I appreciate the support and the inspiration. Catherine says, hi, it's nice seeing you. Nice seeing you as well. Mick says, made the labs and cheese last week. It was so good. We're making it again right now. Oh man, I know. The cheese is out of this world. And you can of course mix it with some herbs if you need to. You know, sometimes I'll do like summer savory. I'll chop up some of that and mix it with it, but man, it barely lasts. It's just so good. And it's a whole different ball game than other cheeses because it is bursting with life. Very beneficial. Garden Like a Viking. What do you think about sheet mulching for building soil? Yes, sheet mulching for building soil is a fantastic method. It's a lot closer to how nature does it. Nature never tills, never broad forks, never does any of that kind of stuff. Things grow, fall down, and then grow, fall down, grow, and fall down. And so, yes, and it's never all mixed together. Nature never turns the compost piles, all of this. Yes, sheet mulching works good. That's one way to do things. So, trees are the best cover crop for remineralization. Oh, absolutely, yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And subsequently, tree leaves are the best things to use for soil remineralization as well, and for decomposition. Get the deciduous hardwood leaves if you have any access to them, and let them decompose. I'll show you guys techniques of how I do it over the wintertime, but that will get really nice and full of minerals. Leaves are exactly what the plants need. And they are sheet mulched, basically. I mean, the tree roots go deeper than any other roots, deep into the ground, mine out the minerals, store them in its leaves, and then at the end of the year, the leaves all fall to the ground to then decompose. And we all are accustomed to sweeping them all away so that it doesn't kill the grass in my yard. But we're not seeing, we've become disconnected with the inherent perfection of nature, the intelligence of nature. Nature knows that you do this and it drops the leaves. It doesn't do it just because. It does it because it is creating the ideal soil for itself. Right there where all the leaves fall, year after year. And remember, nature works on a geological timescale. Nature does not work on the human timescale, which is a blink of an eye. So year after year, the tree is creating its own fertility by doing the mining process, and it's over, boom. And that's the cycle of how death creates life. It's like this, like a toroidal energy sphere, the tree, and what it does with the earth, the symbiotic relationship with the earth. It's just magnificent. I get goosebumps even right now when that kind of energy starts flowing through me. It's fantastic. Okay, I'm letting mimosa trees weed out on my land to rebuild the soil. Oh, very nice. Where do you live again? I forget, because I don't know what tree that is. Mimosa tree. I'm trying to convert a part of my garden with JMS. It's got nettles and other scavenging weeds. I'm using JMS at a 50-50 and putting it on after it rains. I also spray lab. Some of the weeds have died. Okay, yeah, absolutely. You convert it with the JMS. Also, any of the liquid fertilizers that we've done, those are all going to be very beneficial for the soil, and they're all about reintroducing the soil life. Do you have advice how to prepare planting hole for fruit trees? Pretty much like you would. I mean, I don't know if you're in the tropical environments. It's going to be a little bit different. I would have to see, and I would have to, get a feel for what is around there and stuff like that, and what supplies are natural. But for the most part, leaf mold, composted leaves, a little bit of manure can work good, but if it's composted. But mostly, it just needs leaves. Trees don't need a ton of fertility, but what they do need is a fungal relationship with the earth. And so, anything that you can do to increase this fungi relationship. So the vegetables, we can focus primarily on bacterial relationships. So a lot of the things are bacterial that we use for vegetables. For tree work, it has to be more of the fungal dominant relationships. And so we do that through planting the tree, but then always keeping a layer of mulch over the entire drip line of the tree, however big that is. Keep a layer of mulch, because that's what would happen in nature. Oh, you're in SoCal. Okay, yeah. Then you definitely want to keep that mulch all the way around it, and preferably leaf mulch of some kind. Wood chips will also work, but that's what's going. And then water it in with JMS, okay, with good indigenous microorganism solution all around that whole drip line, and that's going to help to establish the mycorrhizal fungi, okay. And it's incredible what the fungi does, and this is what it's all about with trees. Is establishing that, okay? Because the mycorrhizal fungi forms a relationship with the tree roots. It attaches itself to the tree root, and then it creates hundreds and thousands of miles of microscopic strands of fungi, hyphae is what they're called, that go way out into the soil and pull nutrients to give to the tree root. And in exchange, the tree root will then feed the mycorrhizal with the exact type of sugar that the tree knows that the fungi wants. It's a perfect symbiotic relationship. The mycorrhizal says, okay, well, I'll go way the hell out here and gather all kinds of microscopic nutrients if you will feed me the sugar I need, if you give me the good stuff. The tree says, fair enough, you do that better than I ever could, so here, I will combine the sunlight and the earth and the air and all of that, the water, and I will create these sugars to give to you. And like this, we will help each other thrive. So that's what it's all about, my friends, is helping to foster that relationship. Okay, we are going to be nearing the end, I think. So hi, Nate. In India, we use lots of de-oiled cake powders and liquid fertilizers in our veggie gardens. Works wonders for us. You have a very nice garden. Yes, thank you. What part of India are you in? Sudha? What part of India are you in? Mimosa tree is a legume, can improve soil by fixing nitrogen. Wow, okay, didn't know that. My Sergey says my eggshells are in the vinegar. All right, so you are making water-soluble calcium acetate, calcium carbonate, and acetic acid. Combination, calcium acetate. Let's see here. Albizia. North Carolina? Okay. Careful. I've heard it's illegal to plant kudzu some places because of invasive. Hi, Nate. Okay, yes, I've already read that one. Okay, my friends, so it's going to be coming to a close before too long, because I want to get outside and utilize some of this amazing rain. I'm going to layer, because I've got the cabbages, the Chinese cabbage, the daikon radish, the peas, all of that is coming up in full force. And so I want to put down some leaf mulch on all of that, okay? Because we're still gonna get some hot weather, some hot, dry weather. We're still gonna get that. But I want to make sure that there is everything that it needs to thrive as it gets colder, okay? So if you have any burning questions, go ahead and ask them. But other than that, this week I'm thinking about, we'll do a video on crop-specific fertilizer. I feel like that one is gonna be coming. Also a Catherine McMartin, $10. Thank you, my friend. I appreciate you. I remember you from a number of comments on the videos. So I always appreciate you guys' engagement. And like I said, it helps to keep this stuff flowing. Yes, helps to keep the videos flowing and the knowledge, or the videos flowing and the channel growing. What do you think about that? Okay, I'm going to use that saying. Also loyal to the soil. Stay loyal to the soil, my friends. I want to make like a shirt or something like that that says that. Okay. So all right, thanks for hanging out, guys. And this was a good candlelight ceremony that we had here. And I will see you guys next Saturday. Okay, if you have any questions, you just let me know. And I will see you soon. Yes, hit the like button. That's right.